We get started again.
Can you clear up the confusion about the sending off? Did Dylan tell you that he was talking to Tom Youngs, or was he saying it to another Leicester player?
Yeah, it's very hard. I'm a bit like you. You don't know what's going on the field. You're a long way from the action. But I asked Dylan at half time, and I've just asked him again. You know, what happened? What did he say? And he said he was talking to Tom Youngs.
Is that the kind of thing he should be saying to Tom Youngs on the pitch?
Oh, I think, to be honest, I think he's probably saying a lot worse than that.
Jim, if he was talking to Tom Youngs, then he was sent off for talking to the referee. So do you have an issue with it? Because we'll never know, and to be fair, it was very brave rearguard action by you guys, but to lose your captain and be down to 14 men with the whole half is massively significant, obviously. So do you now have a big issue to try and clear up? Do you feel robbed? Do you feel incensed? Or do you feel if you talk like that, that's going to happen?
Well, I think if you talk like that to a player, then of course you wouldn't expect anything to happen. Clearly, Wayne Barnes has believed that Dylan's spoken to him, and that's why he's given him the red card.
Do you think it goes back to him warning Dylan about 5 minutes before about the way that he spoke to him, that was in his mind?
It could have done. I wasn't aware of that. I don't wear a ref link, but I'm not too sure about that.
Jim, Dylan's got a bit of a charge sheet.
I support Dylan. He's my captain, and if he says that he wasn't speaking to the referee and he was speaking to the player on the floor, then I can, only support my skipper and what he says.
Do you think his previous might have gone before him because of as Adam said, his previous history?
I'd like to think not. I'd like to think that wouldn't have happened.
So Jim, if as you say, you stand by captain, you believe what your captain said, then that's a major mistake in that case by the referee, which arguably cost you the final. Is that? I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. In your opinion, it's gone, it's happened. You just have to take it, or what?
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. You tell me. You're saying that it was an error by the ref, or at least he mistakenly thought Dylan was speaking to him, and there's nothing you can do about it.
There is nothing he can do. Clearly, he's meant to be with the British Lions probably tomorrow. There will be a hearing. He's got a red card. Don't quite know when that will be, and the hearing will look in and see whether they believe Dylan Hartley or not.
Do you feel sorry for him that he has to now go through this process, and that potentially he could end up missing out on the Lions tour?
Well, certainly, I feel sorry for him. I think for the team, it was a massive turning point, and I read Wayne Barnes didn't want to be that person, the referee, to make a decision. He wanted the rugby to determine who won the game, and it was a massive decision that Wayne made.
Have you attempted to speak to Wayne or to anybody?
No.
I mean, as you say, it's gone now. You've lost the final, but it's not over for Dylan, is it? If he fails to convince the hearing that it was to Tom and it wasn't to Wayne Barnes, that's probably the line has gone. I mean, can you help? Can you represent him? What happens next to try and save his tour?
Yeah, I think just to sort of bring it to a bit of a conclusion, we'll support Dylan. He said a number of the senior players who were around the ball agreed with Dylan that he was looking down and speaking to Tom Youngs. They've said that, and we'll support Dylan.
Nobby at half time had a bit of a pop at Cockers. I think you were massively delighted with his antics. What was your problem with him?
Well, Cockers is Cockers, isn't he? He gets into, he likes to get into your face. He jumps down to the touchline, and that's the way he is. And some people might say he intimidates officials. I don't think he probably does. But that's Cockers.
I mean, to be fair, he wasn't the one who swore on the pitch, was he? So, what are we saying here?
No, you're asking me a question. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. But could it have had an effect on the red card, the intimidation of the officials?
No.
All right. Okay.
In your view, is it a shame that we're talking about these two incidents rather than probably what was one of the better Premiership finals in however long? Because you were in it for long periods, weren't you? You were in it for an hour.
Of course I am. It was, I guess, for a neutral, it was a very good game of rugby, and I was proud of Northampton. I was proud of the performance. I think we could have possibly scored a couple of tries in the first half. The Ben Foden one, which was definitely touch and go. Even looking at it, I thought we'd scored that. Got held up over the line, and then the ability for the lads to fight back with 14 men was tremendous, to keep getting back within a score. So I'm very, very proud of my team.
If you had to pick them up, because obviously the dressing room is probably absolutely devastated, isn't it?
It is, and you can't pick them up. Words can't really. We've lost the Premiership final. That's down and that's gone. For all that effort, your 22 league games and your semi-final, all that effort just suddenly goes. But as I said to the boys in the changing room, you'd rather be in a final than not in a final. And I'm proud just to get this far.
Can you describe how Dylan is and what you've said to him? Because he must be on the floor.
Yeah, I've just basically, we've not spoken a lot. I've just asked him how he is and what happened, and I've told you what he's told me.
So what were your thoughts when you saw the red card flashed, and what was your mind about the incident and what you done?
Just that we had to really pull tight and try and hang in, and obviously we were always underdogs and we were always up against it. We gave ourselves a mountain to climb, but we rallied and we got tight and we were defiant and we wanted to fight to the end, and we talked at half time about what an opportunity it was, that if we could dig deep and pull something out of the bag, that we'd go down in history for it, and that it would be such an achievement on such a grand scale, that to beat Leicester with 14 men for half, that's where all our focus was, that we weren't going to lie down, we weren't going to go away, and in fact we were going to steal the initiative, come out and play out Leicester and put them under immense pressure, because we felt like we had them rattled at times, we felt like we were getting into them, and if we could recreate that, we could still be in the game, come the last 5 or 10 minutes with 14 men, that the pressure would be on them, not us, that they were carrying the expectation, they were carrying the pressure, and we felt that it was in our hands to steal it.
Was it just in the end that just the fact that you were man down, in the end it told, just the last 10?
Leicester are a quality side, they're very strong with their basics. Like I said, we were always up against it, we battled bravely, and in the end the dam broke to a certain extent. I mean, I'm proud of the way we dug in and we kept fighting, but they've got so many powerful strike runners, such cohesion within their group. I think we had them on the back foot at times, but I guess the numbers told in the end, and just the weight of pressure told. But like I say, proud of everyone to a man. The bench came on and added a huge amount of energy and kept us going, because there was people out on their feet out there, just really digging deep. I mean, I'm still suffering from cramps sat here now. So.
Tom, can you just confirm that the ref said to you when he told you what happened in the red card situation?
He just came over and said that quite calmly that he was going to deal with me from then on, and that Dylan's gone. So he swore at me, have a chat with your lads and make sure that we're calm and composed from here on in.
Was there some kind of miscommunication just before that? Because I think that Barnes told Stephen Mylan not to put the ball out from the restart, and that led to the scrum, didn't it?
Yeah, I caught some of that conversation. The clock was ticking, and we perhaps were in our half, we're under pressure and wanted to get the ball off the field and regroup at half time, and Stephen said, is that the end, is that the clock dead, can I put this out? And I think Wayne Barnes said yeah, but because the ball went out on the full, I think that's why it came back. I don't think you're allowed to put the ball out on the full in that circumstance, so he was quite within his rights to grubber it into touch.
He went out on the full.
Yeah, when the dancing girls came on and everything else, and just Yeah, it was like a circus for a couple of minutes, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't know about that, but you know, I think Stephen just asked him, "Is that the clock? Can I put it out? Can I put this up all out?" He said, "Yeah." So Steve kicked it, but it went out on the full, which was the difficulty. You know, that was just one of those moments.
Tom, were you one of the senior players who's supported Dylan's home events that Jim referred to?
I didn't hear what he said or how it came across. I was backpedaling 10 metres. But you know, I do fully support Dylan. He's the heartbeat of our club. He leads from the front day in, day out in training. He's an emotional man, he wears his heart on his sleeve. We back him all the way. He is our leader, and you know, it's tough when things like this happen, but it's what makes Dylan Dylan. He plays on the edge. You know, and he leads from the front in training, and that's why we're all behind him.
Do you worry a little bit for Dylan, Jim, if and it's very possible likelihood that if he is banned, then that's the Lions gone, and with everything else that's happened,
Yeah,
it'll be tough.
I think we've done Dylan. You know, we've done that now, and I think that's enough said.
Anything else?
Do you see finally it's been, you know, it's your first final, you haven't won it, but still as a step forward, are you very positive for next season now on the back of doing what you've done this season and you know, giving Leicester a hell of a game with 14 men?
Yeah, we're very positive. I think, as I said, you'd rather be in a final than not. So we're very optimistic about next year. We're losing a number of our of good players, but we're also bringing in some very good players. So we're very positive, and the experience of playing in a final like this will hopefully stand us in good stead.
Jim, what about Ben Foden? Was it dangerous that he every time he took the ball?
Hey, he was fantastic. He went over on his ankle, and that's the reason we brought him off with about 12 minutes to go. But I think he was magnificent for us, and showed everybody what he can do.